Welcome, everyone, to this edition of the Lunch Break, Throwback Thursday. This is the Houston Roundball Review TakeOver. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. And, of course, the Roundball Review TakeOver is powered by JM&E. You can watch this show on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, FireTV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If you don't, no worries. You can just go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. I'm going to get right into it. I'm happy to say that I got a special guest going to be joining me as promised. I'm not sure. We'll ask him. I'll ask him if he is I'm the first person media-wise he's talked to live stream. But the new head coach of HCU, Houston Christian University men's basketball, Coach Craig Doty. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kris. How's everything going, man? You staying dry over there?
I'm trying to. Yes, sir. Thank you for doing this. I'm glad you reached out to me and we made this happen, so I appreciate it. How long have you been head coach at HCU?
I think we're in week 6 now. 6 weeks of constant recruiting and campus visits and getting to know as many people as possible. So I think our staff and I average being on the phone between 8 and 12 hours a day, each person, just constantly just digging up. And those other hours we're watching film and doing player evals and just trying to navigate the portal without a collective. That's the big thing is, doing it with a free team, free in terms of, majority of the Southland and majority of the country are able to pay in the ranges from $10,000 a player to 1.8 million has been the highest rumor coming out for a player. So, we're doing it organically. We're doing it differently, but yet we're still making some good progress. We have some great commitments so far as we're building this roster from the ground up.
You're coming from Emporia State, where you were successful. Why did you decide to come to Houston HCU, Coach?
Well, Emporia State was a great setup. I was one of the top paid coaches in Division II. We had an arena that held 5,000 people. That was immaculate. We're fully funded. Great Division II basketball is probably comparable to the bottom 100 Division I setups. So, with that, it would have had to have been the perfect fit for me to make the jump to a low major Division I. One of the ones that I've always looked up to was Houston Baptist, now Houston Christian, since they went Division I years ago, and kind of went through that transition. I think it's changed everything. I'm kind of an acquisition entrepreneur, if you will, Kris. We took over junior college at Rock Valley College. They were ranked last in the region, and we won 2 national championships and had a national runner-up in 4 years' time. We then took over Graceland University, where we had an NAI JV team even, and had 4 scholarships to spread amongst 38 guys, okay? And we won the NAI national championship in year 2. So then we went to the Division II level, and we took over the last place team in the MIAA, Emporia State, and we got them nationally ranked each of the last 4 years. We see Houston Christian in a similar light. You look at acquisition entrepreneurs. What do? They don't want to buy a company that's performing at its peak, because you pay top dollar for that company. And then where do you go from there if it's already at max performance? What you do is look for companies, or in my case, programs and opportunities in which a program isn't, there's a lot more meat left on the bone. There's a lot more to be added. There are defined advantages to the job that we feel our staff can take advantage of to take it to the next level and grow it. There's room to grow and the ability to take those steps. And that's exactly what we feel about it, Houston Christian. We have an amazing city in Houston. The Rockets are 10 miles down the road from us. NBA scouts in the city. If you want to be seen, if you want to be a student athlete, and almost everyone wants to get their degree and go overseas and play pro, or a chance to make an NBA summer league, and who knows what happens from there. If you want those opportunities, we're better to do that in an incredible city like Houston, where all of those resources will be put into play. If you want to be seen, there's no easier way to be seen than when you're on ESPN Plus every single night, and you're in a city with one of the busiest highways, I-10, right next to us.
You touched on it, Coach. A lot of things there, and I'm not sure folks have really realized that HCU is on ESPN Plus. Their games are on ESPN Plus, and how beneficial that can be to the program. So just expound on that for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big move by the Southland. I believe it was a couple of years ago. This was the last year. This past season, it may have been the first season every game has been on it. Before that, I believe it was select games. But now with every game having a national audience, it's huge. I mean, there's ESPN Chancellor is in the booth a lot. You know, Van was a WNBA Coach of the Year. He coached at LSU. He's done about everything, and you know he's in the booth giving color, and you know, along with Garrett Jones, who's an incredible play-by-play, and everywhere you go, every one of our games are nationally telecasted through ESPN Plus. And of course, when you play the Power Fives, you know, we have Texas on the schedule, Texas A&M and Creighton for next year as of right now. Okay. Those games could be even on bigger platforms too, whether it be SEC Network at A&M or, you know, whatever direction they go for them. So even the big 12 network, and sometimes the games got brought in by ESPN too. So now there's tons of opportunity for exposure, development, and you know, as long as guys aren't getting caught up on the facility being small, for us, we embrace it as an advantage for us. We're going to do a huge outreach, Kris. Just a couple ways to build it. One's organically, just to, you know, compete, build excitement that way, win games, and people come. The other way is to do that. In addition, do a full external outreach. And that includes, for us being a Christian university, you know, we're going to be getting into youth groups and going speaking at youth groups and inviting those youth groups to come in. And for every home game, we'll have a different youth group. And, you know, they come in, their parents come in, whatever youth group is the loudest thing gets invited back on senior night to come in and be the loudest again. So, you know, then we want to have concerts outside. There's so many talented musicians throughout Houston, whether they're doing covers at bars or performing at churches or performing anywhere. There are so many talented people that would love to come perform an hour and a half before tip off. You know, it's not a heavy bill to get them out here and get some food trucks out there, build excitement over here on this side of campus. So everybody from housing comes across, and if you got music and food, people come over, right? And then you do that an hour and a half before tip off. They flow right into the game. We're gonna have a Howland Huskies club, Kris, where, you know, we'll have different organizations and sports compete with each other so you can have the most attendance and the loudest and best fan base. And at the end, there'll be a huge trophy that's given out and a buffet meal for whatever group, whether it be a sorority group, a biology club, the football team. We're going to make sure every stone is unturned here so we can build excitement in the program and move this thing forward.
Excellent. I like those ideas. And if I can do that, and this is extended to everybody who follows me on my social media platforms knows, I mean, it's in the name, Houston Roundball. Okay. I want to see all the local teams succeed. HCU, TSU, Rice, Houston, of course, is my alma mater, but I want to see everybody succeed. So if I can do whatever I can to help spread the word, you just let me know. We've exchanged information, contact info. Just reach out to me. You want to come on this show again for live talk, we can do that. You want to record some segments, we can do that too, and play that, because my last few weeks I've been surprised at my platform is growing a lot. So I'm not sure why that is, or if it's playoffs or WNBA, whatever.
You just keep going, man. Keep going. And as you continue to grow and word of mouth gets out there and you continue to promote through social media and take clippets, hopefully even of this interview, and put it out there, and then more and more people get to know you. And the more you do that, the better it's going to be for student athletes. At the end of the day, you're servicing young people. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Like, our job is a job of service as well. You know, we want to win games and build excitement. We want to impact student athletes along the way. That impacts the common student as well. You can change the whole culture of a university with successful football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. Okay, those are your revenue generating sports, if you will. Though all sports are very important, so we want to support them all, and we want to do the best we can in men's basketball to elevate the university, kind of be that doorstep of a great academic and private faith-based college.
You mentioned it when you first joined today, that you got some commitments. Can you name who those young men are and talk about them briefly?
So I don't want to name them just because of NCAA stuff with it. Some have signed, some have not. And I'm going to slip because some paperworks are being sent back. You check the social media at Coach Doty. We retweet. We're allowed to retweet those commitments. And then I believe 4 of the 5 have been signed. So I don't want to slip and say a name that hasn't been. But you know, we got a Texas guy most recently who's very talented and good size, and we have a 6'9" guy flying in today and another 6'7" kid coming in tomorrow. So it's just constant visits. And we need to build the roster. When we got the job, everyone on the team, all 13 scholarship players were either in the portal or had graduated. So there's nobody on the roster. So, and they're 6-23 last year. They wanted a different experience, which they're probably in the right spot because they need to, our student athletes that are outgoing. Some of them are, Jay Alvarez just announced he's going to Ryder, who's the leading scorer here, which is great. It's back home for him. And, he's 2 hours from his parents. It's a great move for him. And so we're trying to help and support those on the way out. At the same time, we're bringing in and infiltrating this place with an immense amount of speed, athleticism, and talent. And in depth, when you're recruiting every scholarship spots, you're trying to bring in stars, you're trying to bring in the role guys. What you really try to do is you don't bring in anybody to not play. You either bring in starters or you bring in backups. And your hope is that the people that you project as backups are good enough to start. And now you have really competitive practices, because if you leave it up to the student athletes in September, October, then they're gonna dictate who gets what. But no, that's the stage we're in right now, Kris. Is we've got 7 commitments so far, and we need 6 left, and those could be wrapping up. At least half of those could be wrapping up relatively quickly.
Describe your coaching style, your coaching philosophy.
Well, there's a few different coaching styles you have in terms of what direction you want to go with that question. One side of it being like, how do you manage student athletes? Like what do you look like on the sideline in practice? Because you have everything from the Bob Knight dictatorial style, militaristic, all the way to, a lot of NBA coaches. I mean, they can't really get on their guys very much since, LeBron has the contract that's making $50+ million a year and the coach is making, a fraction of that. So the coaches have to be players coaches nearly all the time in the NBA. So you have ranging from militaristic and dictatorial all the way to complete players coach. I would say we're in the middle of that, where we don't show up to try to pick fights with our guys in practice. We show up and try to hold everybody accountable, hold them to an incredibly high standard every single day, while simultaneously building relationships and leading through love. And is that tough love sometimes? Sure, it absolutely is. When is it normally? When anybody gets disrespectful, when someone's not working hard, we'll nip those things in the butt right away. And if there's a constant problem, we'll just get rid of somebody because we don't need to deal with that. I'm not, if somebody needs somebody MFing them every day, like that's not who I am. Okay. Then you need to play for somebody who's going to do that every day. Our staff wants to lead, but the old school way of trying to scare your guys into doing things, it just doesn't work. Number one, parents don't really parent their kids like that anymore.
Right.
Number two, you're so close to getting fired if you act like that. I mean, it's just toxic. So for us, we try to find balance in everything we do, but ultimately we want to lead with love. And so that's our coaching style, if you will. Offensively, we're more of a NBA style quick hitter team. We probably only need 24 seconds instead of 30. If we'll play a team that has substantially more talent than us, we will utilize more than 24. But we coach 1 to 2 sides of the floor. College coaches are notorious for trying to coach 3 and 4 sides of the floor in offense, and we're not doing that. After the first 2 sides, the pattern's done and they get to play. Our job is to put our guys in strength positions so they have space to play and operate out of, and they can be the best versions of themselves. Defensively, we like to switch 5 ways. If we can, we're trying to recruit to that. That means really defensively versatile guys. You can't have any big slugs that can switch. You can't have any small guards because it doesn't work that way, because you'll get posted inside on the small guard on the switch, or the big will get taken off the bounce on the perimeter. So we really look for defensive versatility with how we do things. But we also know we need to be flexible based on who we can get in year one with our defensive identity.
Is there a coach or multiple coaches who you admired and patterned or you learned from to help you get to this point?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was only an assistant coach for 2 years. One was under Jamie Stevens, who's currently, we're at Central Wyoming College. He gave me the start. And the other was under a baseball coach at Riverland Community College, who I went there. He's only going to be there for a couple of years, so I figured I'd go help him out and take over as the head coach there. It didn't end up working out that way, but those were my only 2 years as an assistant. For me, I started a camp organization at 20 years old. I was hiring college coaches left and right. We worked these satellite camps all throughout the country. Our biggest summer was the year before COVID. We worked 185 camps in 17 states.
Wow.
and very lucrative. I mean, over a course of 2 months, we were grossing over $500,000 in camp. Now the overhead's plenty high, obviously, with the travel, the hotels, and all that. But it was still lucrative. But ultimately, it was certainly, and I think that should be the way with everything in life. It should be more than just money. If it's just money, you're probably not doing the right thing, right? It's about impact as well. And we felt we made an impact on young student athletes. A lot of times we're in small rural towns too, where these kids couldn't play a lick, and it had nothing to do with that. It was to use basketball as a vehicle. Number one, to get them better, get them more excited about it, and help them win more games the next year against their competition. But number two, just help develop them and find that joy through sports. And so it worked well. But along the way, I'm hiring college coaches all the time. So the people I was hiring, I was learning from. We had 70 college coaches that were 1099 contractors for us back in 2019. So really, really a fun business. And MEB, I had to separate myself from it. It's a Division I rule. You can't be attached to a satellite camp organization like that once you get Division I. So just about 6 weeks ago, I had to separate myself from that. But, we were running for 19. It's still running. Midwest League Basketball's name is still running. My co-founder and now the owner, Brad Schmidt, he runs it, and it's an awesome organization. But, yeah, so I think that's kind of where I developed as a coach the most, was being on the road, staying in hotel rooms for 3 nights with these college coaches and working camps, and then going to another hotel and staying with 3 different college coaches and just bouncing ideas off each other. And I'm just a huge student as well. Student athletes maybe get sick of me, watching the West Coast game, and it's 11:30 at night, and I rewind my DVR and I'm screen recording a set. And I'm like, hey, what do we call this? Oh, that's Pro 1. We have that in. Like, most of the stuff we're doing, we've taken from NBA team. We're really good at borrowing stuff. I'll give credit for it too. I have an English degree, so I'm all about that. But unfortunately, when it comes to sports, you don't. Nobody's arriving at anything without somebody having been there before. Okay,
Correct.
There's nothing original at this point. The innovation of it. I mean, I even look at ghost screens, which are huge today. And I was watching some clips from the 80s, and I was seeing them run the exact same stuff where the big would come up, act like they're going to set it, and then they would just roll to the basket, which now it's huge. I mean, we only set probably 10, maybe 20% of our screens on ball. Mm-hmm. We're ghosting most of, a lot of times slipping to the arc on it. So, it all comes around. Corduroys will be back in style here someday, and that was.
Well, I hope not, Coach. I hope not.
I don't know if I could buy into it, but my grandfather would have been happy. So.
How close are you to finalizing your non-conference schedule for this coming season?
Yeah, we're getting close. We don't know how many games we need. We're waiting for guidance from the Southland Conference, and that's just with the membership deal. As the goal is to continue to expand on that front, or at least that seems like it. I'm in my infancy here. UTRGV has just joined forces, mm-hmm. and there's rumors of potentially more. This happens at every conference level. People are having conversations constantly about in, out, when, and where. So we're just waiting on a conference schedule. We need to know if we're going to play 18 or 20. Once we get that information, we'll know if we're fine. If we're playing 20 conference games, we're about done. Okay, we're playing 18. Okay, I got to pick up a couple extra ones. So we're waiting and be proactively waiting as we continue to communicate with teams about if and this, that. I mean, scheduling's a hustle. I mean, guys are always saying one thing, and you're always talking to assistants who say one thing, then their boss changes their mind, and they don't want to sign. The contracts go up, but they don't want to sign it, and so it's back and forth all the time. So a lot of verbal agreements, but until you get that contract sent back and signed, it doesn't matter what anybody's talking about. So, but we are in a good spot. It's easy to schedule when you inherit the 357th ranked team in net out of 362. So everybody wants to play HCU right now. We hope to create a problem, Kris, in the future with scheduling where maybe that's not the case.
How many home games in non-conference?
Well, I can't talk about the MTE, so we picked that up, the multi-team event we are hosting. We got Northern Arizona coming, and we have Eastern Michigan coming. Contracts are sent back, so we'll play on the first night. We'll play Eastern Michigan, and then Northern Arizona will play Eastern Michigan the next night, and then we will play Northern Arizona the following night after that. So we will host that, which picks us up 2 more home games. We will play a lot of home games. Like our big thing is negotiating home deals. We'll still play buy games where we go out and get paid. You got to bring in so much, like every Southland school does. But ultimately, we need games that sharp. This is our advantage. Is going to be our home court. So we need to make sure that, hey, if we're going on the road, it's not just to get paid to go play, a Power 5 where we never get a home game back. We're talking even UTEP. UTEP's willing to do a home and home. We're just trying to figure out the logistics behind it, which is awesome that, UTEP would come to us, you know what I mean? So like, that would be an awesome, but they know we don't have a collective too. So, I mean, these teams are going to, you go on the road and play UTEP in a home and home. You're sitting at, a 1 in 15 chance to win at their place, as they're working with a whole different ball game, because again, these teams have collectives and they're firmly mid Division I. And then they come to our place, you hope to cut into that margin quite a bit, right? And give yourself a realistic chance to win that one. So, you kind of as a scheduler, you got to know going into each game, is it a scheduled win? Is it a scheduled up in the air, we'll see what happens, or is it a scheduled loss? And your goal is for scheduled losses to flip those so they're competitive, so you have a chance to win it. For your schedules wins, that you stay by the wins and you handle your business, especially on your home court. And for those in the middle, that you're handling your business there too. So I mean, I guess when KU and maybe Kentucky, there's only a handful of teams out there that only get to play scheduled wins all the time. So that's just how that works. So,
what has been the reception so far for you on campus in your 6 weeks at HCU?
I mean, things have been awesome. Like, the excitement level's high. We're changing the energy. We're changing the culture, and we're using basketball to do it, not just on the floor, but also at a university level. So right now it's just been so busy in and out with student athletes coming in. Our next one touches down today at 4:00 p.m. And I'm getting a little fat eating all this Houston food, Kris, because it's incredible. We're whining and dining these guys on their official visits. And if I keep going to get Joey Uptown in the gallery and eating any more of that, they got this ravioli with steak cut up, and then on top of the ravioli is a piece of shrimp on every one. I mean, it's just incredible. That's fine, but it's the dessert afterwards that gets you, man. That cake is to die for. So now we're eating a lot of good Houston food. We're showcasing the best of Houston and HCU to recruits. We're getting commitments, and we're building this roster. So along the way, though, we're seeing people, and the reception's been awesome. Again, they're excited. We're excited. And I think we won the press conference. Now it's time to win some games.
Coach, I'm going to ask it. I've followed HCU a long, long time. I remember when they used to have some summer league games over there at Sharp Gym long time ago. What's the word, or what's the hope timetable on at some point getting a new hoops facility?
Yeah, so I took this job without even considering that. What I want to do is elevate Sharp where it's at right now. I want to get a video board in there, a big, large. On that north wall, if you get a video board on that, it's just going to pop. It's going to be huge. I want a new sound system in there. I want to have scrolling, instead of having tables with a cloth over top, and we need scrolling check-in boards with marketing and advertising on there. They're already taking care of enhancing our cheerleading program. Like, we need to create an event there, and that's the first step in everything. I want to make it such a great home court advantage that we say we don't even want to leave. We just want to keep enhancing what we have. So we'll see what direction it goes, but right now it's all about how can we find success with what we have, not what are we going to do with Sharp? It's a small place. It only holds 1,000. Well, they did an end zone construction and one with all those chairbacks. That's nice. Can we do an end zone construction? That's phase 2. Phase 1, though, is going to be the video board, the sound system, and the score tables. Those that's phase 1 as we're looking. An office upgrade over here as well for the men's staff, just because, again, recruits and everybody are coming in and out of here constantly. Some of the stuff can get done for, everything I just said could probably get done for $500,000. So, can we rally some excitement to get that done? Because a new facility, if you're going to do it right nowadays, is going to be a minimum of $40 million. So a minimum of $40 million if you're going to do it right. If you want to do it wrong, it's still going to cost you $25 million. So it just comes down to what direction you want to go with it. But again, we didn't come in here saying we're gonna get rid of Sharp. We said we're gonna elevate Sharp. Number one, because we're going to put a good team on the floor that people want to come see. And again, I added that where I'm working on halftime entertainment for every game. I'm working on national anthem singers and performers, and we want to just keep everything. Again, no stone left unturned, Kris. This is the excitement we're doing. We're building and executing. So once we do all that, we're bringing a lot of volume going through that gym. Okay, now it won't be very difficult to ask people, can I get 100,000 here? Or just one donor can give $500,000. Whether we can get a corporate donor for it. That would be the most. If you ever want a a new facility here. That's probably the biggest thing. Get one of the hospital systems to build it with their name on it. That's probably the most realistic way of doing it. But again, right now, that's not where our mind's at. Our mind is currently recruiting a roster. Our mind is getting this place happening, rocking place. And then let's look at it in a year or two while we still identify the capital campaign, a small one, $500,000 one where we can continue to get upgrades.
Final few minutes with Craig Doty, HCU men's basketball head coach. What are your thoughts, hopes, plans, or what has been the feedback about forming an NIL collective for HCU men's hoops or HCU athletics?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the direction the school wants to go right now, so I can't speak more on that. We're having those conversations. It wasn't going to happen in this recruiting class, so we're focused on doing this recruiting class organically. So here's kind of my how I'm operating, and I think every coach should do this when they take over a job. Number one, you need to learn. You need to figure out what is going on, and it's ever changing in Division I. It's different even now than it was last year. Certainly different than it was 5 years ago. A whole different game than it was 5 years ago. So I'm learning every single day by having conversations, figuring out how low-funded teams are getting money in their collective. Well, they're using buy money to go play Power 5 teams. They're writing checks directly to their collective. Okay, if they play two of those, two extra, it's $100,000 each game on average. That's $200,000 their collective that then they can give out to their players. All right. So we're learning how, and then of course at the mid-level, they're not doing it with buy games, and the high level, certainly not. It's all donor-based and business-based on those levels. So do we want to go to collective route? I'm not sure. I mean, these are deep conversations we need to have later on with our, university administration and our stakeholders, because there's a level of Wild West to this right now. That's not sustainable, and we all know that. There's no guidance at the national level. In fact, the national level tries to give guidance, and they get put up in court. And as soon as they think they're good, a different state then sues them, and it's caught up in court. So there's no antitrust exemption. So you have to operate on the American standard. You don't get an exemption to make rules that wouldn't allow freedom to anybody. In any other capitalistic, because at the end of the day, I mean, Division I athletics is a business. So I think there's a little wait and see, but I also think that that's a dangerous approach too on waiting and seeing, because you have to be proactive. So again, these are all talks we're going to have. But number one is learn what everybody's doing. Number two is then educate. We all educate each other. My administration educates me. I educate them on what's going on specifically in men's basketball. The football coach educates what's going on in football. So we all get together. We have these dialogues and conversations, and we figure out then afterwards is an implementation plan of what are we going to do to move forward to be as competitive as we possibly can. So those are the 3 steps: learn, educate, and implement. So we're in a learning phase right now, and we'll be educating each other this summer and developing a plan. After that late summer, we're talking moving forward.
Thank you very much, Coach Craig Doty. Is there anything you want to add in these final moments with you?
Chris, I appreciate it, man. I'm a open book. I'll tell you everything. And we talked as many circles as we could there. You asked me one question, somehow I'll get to Houston food and talking about other things. So the only thing I got to say is I'm a Braves fan, so I apologize about us coming in and sweeping the Astros here. But I will say this, we're going to start loving on the Astros when it's not the Braves. So, it's good baseball, good sports around here. My son has already got a CJ Stroud jersey, so he's ready to go. And, we're all Rockets fans. So we're happy to be in Houston. It's a great place, great city, great food, great people, and a melting pot of every different race and culture and ethnicity. And it is amazing. And we're so excited to be here. So thanks for having me on, Chris. And I look forward to the next opportunity.
Thank you as well, Coach. Keep in touch. And I will post this and share it, of course, on the platforms and tag you in it as well as you can post it also and share it on Twitter, as well. And we'll do this again on your schedule when you want to do it. Just let me know.
Thanks so much, Chris. Take care.
You too. Take care. HCU men's basketball head coach Craig Doty, special guest on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. The first half of the show is complete. Bottom half is going to be rapid fire, but this is what I do here on the Takeover. Ms. Wanda, thank you very much on that. I'll pass that message along to Coach Doty. But y'all know, if you're watching the show, the bottom of the hour is just time to let everyone know what BS3 Network, BS3 TV is all about. In case you're wondering, like I said, it's available on Roku, Houston Roundball. So this show is streaming live right now on Roku. Lots of eyeballs watching the show on Roku. So I'm going to take this 90-second break to give you an indication of what a BS3 TV, BS3 Network is all about.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the Houston Roundball Review Takeover on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and also via the BS3 Network. This show is streaming live on Facebook, FireTV, Twitter, X, Musk, as I call it, but also it's streaming on Roku via the BS3 TV app. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If not, just go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. Big thanks, big shout out to Craig Doty, head coach of the HCU Houston Christian University men's basketball program, for taking time to join me in the first half of this edition of the Takeover. These next 25 minutes or so going to be rapid fire. Got a lot of news to cover. I'm going to start from the beginning of my slide presentation. Class, get your pens and pencils ready. Miss Wanda, get ready. Take notes. First up, TSU women. Aaliyah Henderson, freshman from SMU, has signed with Coach Vernetsky and TSU. She averaged 6 minutes per game and appeared in 18 contests last season at SMU. A lot of stuff right here from Rice. Women first, of course, ladies first. Victoria Flores played at TCU last season. She's joined Rice out women's basketball. I think Rice's roster is now full 15 scholarships for women's basketball. Victoria appeared in 23 games with 6 starts, averaged 3.6 points per game in just over 14 minutes per game. Shot 32.5% from 3 and 74.2% from the foul line. She led TCU with 19 points off the bench against Prairie View, the most scored for a TCU freshman in a decade. Got to say this as well. I saw her, TCU's home game, played Houston here at Fertitta. That Cougar pressure defense got to her. She had, I think, 4 turnovers in her time against the Cougs. So we'll see how she does at Rice. But she's from West Dallas, played at Duncanville. A 4-star recruit out of high school, signing with Rice Owls, Lindsay Edmonds, and the staff. She was the 81 ranked prospect in the 2023 ESPN Hoop Girls Recruiting Rankings. Not bad, not too shabby. Rice men's hoops. Aaron Powell. I think Coach Lanier, who I'm going to talk to Friday morning, going to record that conversation and post it later on the Houston Roundball Review platform. Aaron Powell so far is the lone high school signee to join Rice Owls and Coach Lanier's men's hoops program. But Aaron, 6'1", 175 guard from Campbell Hall High School in LA, Los Angeles, California. Last season averaged 18.2 points per game. His junior year averaged 17.2 points per game, 3.9 assists, 3.2 rebounds, and 1.8 steals. A 3-time first-team Gold Coast member. He was selected to the NBPA, that's the National Basketball Player Association, Top 100 camp. That means he's pretty good. And the Junior USA camp. Aaron Powell is rated a 4-star by ESPN and a 3-star by 247sports.com. Now the transfers to Rice Owls men's hoops. Caden Powell, 6'10", 220. Spent his last 2 years at Wyoming. Last season averaged 5.4 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, shooting 48.2% from the floor. Had 4 double-figure scoring games, including 17, a career-high 17 against the Billikens of St. Louis. He's from Waco High School. He was a 3-star recruit by 247 Sports and Rivals, the 39th ranked center by 247 Sports in the country. He was all-region as a senior, earning 11 6A defensive most valuable player. Trey Patterson, 6'9", 225 forward. The last 4 years at Villanova. He missed last season due to injury. I want to say it was an ACL injury, I believe. But at Nova, he saw action in 40 games. He battled injuries throughout his time at Nova. All 4 years, he was dealing with injuries, bless his heart. But he's now healthy. He averaged 5.3 minutes per game. In the 2022-23 season, he played in 22 games and about 7 minutes per game. While at Rutgers Prep in high school, he scored 1,420 career points. As a senior, he averaged, Miss Wanda, 19.8 points per game and 10.1 rebounds per game. So when he's healthy, he can get things done. He wasn't healthy the last 4 years. Hopefully he can stay healthy at Rice this 1 year for the Rice Owls and Coach Rob Lanier. Denver Anglin, 6'1", 185 guard at SMU last year. He's also coming to Rice. He's a redshirt last year for the Mustangs. Prior to SMU, he was a freshman at Georgetown, where he saw action in 18 games. Ranked 87th by ESPN in the class of 2022. He scored 341 points as a senior, while leading the team with 89 assists and 33 steals on his way to NewJersey.com All-State second team selection. Trey Broadnex made it official. I mentioned that he committed about 2 weeks ago to Rice, but made it official on Monday of this week. 6'4", 200 guard, spent the last 2 years at South Carolina Upstate. He was second team All Big South last season, averaged 14.2 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shot 46.5% from the floor, and 71.6% from the free throw line. 2-year average at SC Upstate, 12.6 points, 4.3 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.1 steals, shooting a little bit under 48% from the floor, including 33.1 from long range. So there we go with that. Kellen Amos, 6'7", 190, wingman, guard and forward. Played the last 2 years at Central Connecticut State. Last season, he was third team All-Northeast Conference, averaging 11.8 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, 1.1 block per game, 74.7% from the foul line. His 2 years at CCSU, 13 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, shot 42.2% from the floor, and 71.1% from the free throw line. He began his career at Binghamton. In his 2 years with the Bearcats, he averaged 5.3 points per game and 2.1 rebounds. But he's from H-Town. He played at St. John College Prep. As a senior, he averaged 23.5 points per game and 6.8 rebounds per game. He scored over 1,200 career points at St. John Prep. Was a 2-time first-team TAPS All-District 4 6A selection while earning honorable mention All-State accolades. Rice men, that's a lot of stuff. HCU women, these are official. I'm look forward to when everything's official on HCU men. HCU women signed in Victoria Dixon. I touched on her last Thursday's show, a little bit more. 5'5" sophomore guard from a SWAC school. Miss Wanda, a SWAC school, Alabama A&M. Last season, played in 31 games, averaging almost 6 points per game, almost 2 rebounds per game, and almost 1.5 assists per game. Tiffany Tullis, 5'11" junior from Texas State. Last season appeared in all 32 of the Bobcats games and started at 28, averaging 7.5 points per game and 6.6 rebounds per game. 2 years prior, she was at Blinn. In the 2022-23 season at Blinn, she was first team All-American JUCO, averaging 14.4 points per game and 12.6 rebounds per game, 28 double-doubles. Now we're going to talk about this. Maybe Little Bird is getting out there to Tillman, because I've been putting this out in the universe for the last couple of weeks. Tillman Fertitta told the Houston Chronicle he is interested in bringing a WNBA team back to Houston. Quote from Tillman: I feel like WNBA expansion is going to always work better and has a better chance of success in a city like Houston, where the Rockets are one of the strong teams from a financial standpoint. I think that I would be the natural owner. My response to that: duh. Make it happen, Tillman. Please make it happen. I've said it on this show. I've said it on Folks Talking Sports. I've said it on random Roundball Review videos. You yourself said, Tillman, you want to have Toyota Center filled with as many dates as possible throughout the calendar year. Summertime is not as busy. Well, you get a WNBA team, May, June, July, August. You can fill up a lot of those home dates. Make it happen. Make it happen. See, Rex, I choose to believe this. I do. He watched one of my takeovers and heard you talking about him. Hey, if that's what it was, you're welcome, Tillman. Yes. But make that happen. If you missed it on Sunday's edition, episode 124 of Folks Talking Sports, I mentioned to my colleague, Willie Gibson, had a stroll down memory lane with the Comets. When the Comets were here, the Houston Roundball Review was number 2, right behind the Houston Chronicle in terms of coverage of the Comets. Van Chancellor, thanks to my mentor, William Sickney at the Chronicle, welcomed me into the inner circle of the Comets. The WNBA, the league office, respected me so much that they would contact me, email or phone, and let me know when WNBA President Donna Orender was coming to town for a game, and they would ask me if I wanted to have a sit-down chat with the president of the league. That's how respected the Houston Roundball Review was when the Comets were here in town. I look forward, I hope, that someday the W returns to H-Town. It's ironic. CA37, Rex 32, Miss Wanda, everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Roku. I posted some comments from Chicago Sky head coach Teresa Weatherspoon on YouTube. About a 3-minute video, all total. That video has more views than my Cougs Road Summer Tour video, 5 times as many views. I posted comments about video from Camila Cardoso, South Carolina, now Chicago Sky rookie. That video has 5 times as many views as the Cougs Road Summer Tour. Hey, if WNBA fans, South Carolina fans, Chicago Sky fans, whoever, want to come to the Roundball Review YouTube channel as a source of videos, I'm here for it. No problem with it. I enjoy covering women's basketball, college and pro. I have for a long time. I get rolled eyes from friends and colleagues. Don't care. I'm still going to keep doing it because I enjoy doing it, because I believe they deserve the attention and recognition just like the fellas do. Speaking of the fellas, how about this news? Wes Van Beek and Tayshaun Thomas have committed to the Forever Cougs TBT team. Made that official today. The Forever Cougs roster, now 7 deep, includes Rob Gray, head coach and GM. I guess that's GM official title, unofficial, official. Kyler Edwards, Fabian White, Dejan Giroux, Damian Dotson, the Godfather, Galen Robinson Jr., and Devin Davis. So you add those two right there. Not bad. What do you think about that? Adding Wes Van Beek, Tayshaun Thomas, to Rob Gray, Kyler Edwards, Fabian White, Dejan, Damian, Galen, Devin. Roster sizes could be up to 12. Unofficially, you can have 15 players, but most teams in TBT have 10 to 12 players. So 1 to 3 more spots, roster spots, could be filled for the Forever Cougs, and tickets are now on sale. So just think about that going forward here. And as Rex says, haven't seen some of those guys in a while. Many of them are playing overseas, getting money, getting paid. It's a solid roster. CA37 says, going to be real cool to see the band get back together. And hopefully I'll be there, cover some of the games. And it's winner take all. You know, Cougs win their first game, they play their next game. Cougs lose their first game, they're done. But they are Houston, and Fertitta Center is a regional site for the 2024 TBT, the basketball tournament. Money news. Now we're talking big time money news like Rex 32 and Miss Wanda, CA37, and everybody else, the big time, big budget folks. Check this out. Prime Video. NBA is going to be on Prime, most likely. Prime, get their deal. Money with Amazon Prime has been mentioned. But I'm going to scroll through because it's part of it. The anticipation is that the final contract will be for at least a decade and begin the 2025-26 season. ESPN/ABC is expected to keep the NBA Finals on its networks for the duration of its deals. Like Amazon, ESPN's new contract is also expected to be at least a decade in length. But I want to zip through this because Sunday, was it Sunday? I believe it was Sunday. Let me see here. Sunday. NBC reportedly planning to outbid Warner Brothers Discovery for NBA rights. According to the Wall Street Journal, NBC is reportedly prepared to pay a hefty $2.5 billion annually. That's billion with a B. That's Miss Wanda money right there. She makes that. She got that in her drawer, in her sock. This comes as Warner Brothers Discovery continues to fight tooth and nail to maintain its current rights. But NBC is planning to double Warner's TNT's average fee of $1.2 billion under its current deal. NBC's reported bid includes both regular season and playoff games. And they will not only plan to air these games on its flagship NBC network, but also on its streaming platform, Peacock. NBC Universal holds a major advantage with its bid. They've discussed carrying 2 primetime games a week, a strategy WBD can't match since it doesn't own a broadcast network. So let's do some quick math. NBC, if NBA agrees to that, $2.5 billion annually. ESPN, ABC, reportedly $2.5 roughly billion annually. I assume Amazon Prime is not going to, the NBA is not going to accept less than $1 billion for Amazon Prime. So let's say Amazon Prime is also 2.5 billion, 2 billion. Those three total, it's about $7.5, $7.8 billion annually for the NBA in this upcoming media rights deal. The league, NBA's current NBA media rights deal pays $2.6 billion annually. So the NBA could go from $2.6 billion annually to at minimum 6.5 to maybe 7.8 annually. Can you imagine? Think about it. The player salaries based on that new media rights deal of 6 to 7.5, 7.8 billion annually. Think about that. Visualize that. LeBron and Steph make what, 50 million, right? Million with an M per year. Now, you're going to see some players in the NBA making $100 million a year. A year. Whew. The salary cap is probably going to be $200 million per team, $220 per team. Wow. And I think, and that's a great number, but I think what the NFL's current deal is like, what, 10 billion per year, something like that. So it's a whole lot of money for the NBA, but it still pales in comparison to what the NFL is getting from its media partners. And some of this, it's a question for WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert to answer. Will she want the W to remain part of these NBA media rights negotiations? Or would she want to be bold and take a chance? Because I think the WNBA Players Association and the owners, players can opt out for new CBA negotiations. And Kathy Engelbert could say, no, we want our own deal. We want to negotiate our own deal with our media partners. Would she want to do that? Or would she want the W to stay part of the NBA umbrella for the next 10 years? I'm curious on that one. C37, I should have kept practicing my jumper. Me too. Well, I just locked down on defense. My shot to the NBA would have been playing defense. That's what I didn't get much taller, but I defend the rebound. I'd have been a Coach Kelvin Sampson kind of player. Coach Sampson would have loved me. You know, I'd have guarded the best player, best I could, and been physical and got under their skin and been a pest and rebounded and I'd have been like Pat Beverly or Jose Alvarado, or hopefully once he gets to the league, Jamal Shead. I'd have got in under folks' skin. They've been like, get this dude off me. I'd be right there in their grill. I love defense. Final 2 minutes. Reminder here. Reminder. The Cougs on the Road Summer Tour starts, first one, May 6th. Hope you have, if you have not seen it already, please watch my interview with Alvin Franklin. Alvin and I touched on the Cougs on the Road Summer Tour, as well as the importance of the NIL. But May 6th, Coppell, Texas, 6 to 8 p.m. It's free, but you need to register. And then May 8th in the Woodlands, you need to register. June 18th in San Antonio, you need to register. June 19th in Webster Clear Lake. All the events are free to attend, but you are asked to register, and there is the long URL right there to register. So please take advantage of that.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Friday, May 3rd, 2024. Number 1, a controversial new law is now in place in Tennessee that will allow faculty and staff to carry concealed handguns in K-12 public schools. State lawmakers promised to take action after 3 children and 3 school employees were killed last year at the Covenant School. One key provision of the law, a confidentiality clause. Qualified teachers are not required to notify parents of their students or even fellow educators working in the same building if they're strapped. Number 2, President Biden is persisting in his efforts to establish nationwide tuition-free community college. Advocates argue that free college offers a more comprehensive solution to the college affordability crisis compared to loan forgiveness with growing bipartisan support. Critics argue that lower-income students already benefit from significant financial aid, raising doubts about the program's ability to address access issues comprehensively. Number 3, the U.S. black unemployment rate increased to 6.4% in the month of March, higher than the overall rate of 3.8%. Black women were more affected, with their unemployment rate increasing from 4.4% to 5.6%. DEI, of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, are facing challenges, with high-profile black female executives losing jobs and companies cutting DEI teams. Number 4, a bill aimed at furthering restrictions on discussions of gender identity or sexual orientation in public schools is progressing in the Alabama legislature, passing the State House Tuesday. Currently in Alabama, the HB 130 law states that classrooms in kindergarten through the 5th grade shall not engage in classroom discussion or provide classroom instruction regarding sexual orientation or gender identity in a manner that's not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. State Representative Mac Butler, the bill's sponsor, said in a March hearing the bill is a response to some indoctrination going on. He said the bill seeks to purify the schools. Number 5, black matchmaker Shanika McCrae founded the Help Meet Club to help upscale professionals find love. McCrae, a former wedding and event planner, founded her matchmaking business in 2018 after dealing with her own dating struggles. Clients who typically earn anywhere from $75,000 to $1 million per year can create a profile, complete a questionnaire, and connect with other professionals looking to meet their relationship goals. McCrae, a former wedding and event planner, founded her matchmaking business in 2018 after dealing with her own dating struggles. And now, daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Let's all choose to be faithful, even when hard times are looming. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is JM&E, and I won $500 on the lunch break for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.